Hey guys, this video lesson is going over the 3D Geometry Study Guide. Please make sure you have it open as we go through. Alright, our first question says, Ms. Turner is decorating the prism below for a suggestion box in the counseling office. If she wants to cover it in wrapping paper, how much paper will she need? Well, for this problem, we are going to be finding the surface area. We have to figure out how much paper she needs to completely cover this box. So first things first, they give us a rectangular prism. We have to draw the net and then label our sides. So do your best. Your net should have 4 sides that are rectangles and then 2 bases that are rectangles as well. Again, it's okay that you're not perfect at drawing or that it's not perfectly to scale. It matters more that you get the shapes correct and label the sides correctly. So I like to label my little flaps on the side first. You can see the bottom there is a 15, and then the side, the height there is 12. And then since that side is 12 up there, we can label as many 12s all the way around here. And then same with 15. Since we know that's 15, we can label all of the possible sides here, 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 15 as well. And then last but not least, that 20 centimeters would be the long side of our rectangular prism. So these right here would all be 20. Once you have your sides labeled, you want to be able to label your different shapes. Again, I like to start with my 2 little flaps, make those shape A's, and then we have 20 by 15s that are shape B, and then shape C can be our 12 by 20s. After you have everything labeled, all you have to do is find the area of each, add them all together. So let's start with shape A. Shape A, we made our 12 by 15s. If you type that in your calculator, 12 times 15 is 180. We have 2 of them, so multiply by 2. You should get 360. Shape B, we made those our 20 by 15s. 20 times 15 is 300, but again, we have 2 shape B's, so multiply by 2 to get 600. Lastly, our shape C, we made those our 12 by 20. 12 times 20 is 240. Again, we have 2 shape C's, so multiply by 2 to get 480. It's okay if you labeled your different A, B's, and C's, but the final step that's most important is when you add 360 plus 600 plus 480, we should get the same exact total of 1,440 centimeters squared. All right, next one, find the volume of the rectangular prism below. Use the following measurements. So they give us side lengths A, B, and C, and then they tell us A is 5.5 inches, B is 3, C is 2 1/4. If you worked with fractions, that's completely okay. If you worked in decimals, that's also okay. I will show you both answers in either a decimal or a fraction form. First things first, let's remember volume. The formula is the area of the base times their height. Now, in a rectangular prism, that's just length times width times height. So we're taking our 3 numbers and multiplying. So the base would technically be, not that, our B and our C here. So if we're following suit, we will do 3 times 2 1/4, which is 2.25, times 5.5, which is 5.5. When you type that in your calculator, 3 times 2.25 would be 6.75. If you kept it with fractions, it would be 6 3/4, times 5.5. So we give you a final volume of 37.125. Again, if you kept it in fraction form, that would be 37 1/8, and it's going to be inches cubed for our units here. All right, next one, the cheese department needs to determine the amount of packaging for a chuck of cheese like the triangular prism shown below, but they only want to know how much package is needed to cover the lateral faces, which are those non-base faces. How many square inches of packaging do they have to create? So we are finding surface area here. They told us we're working with a triangular prism, So in our net, first thing we need to do is draw it. We should have 3 sides that are rectangles and 2 bases that are triangles. Remember, we only need to cover the lateral faces with our packaging, which means we're going to be crossing out our 2 bases, and in this case, that's our 2 triangles. Next, we need to label our different side lengths. Take a look at all 3 of those rectangles. They are all 4 by 11s, which is pretty great because when we label them 4 by 11, 4 by 11, that means we can say they are all shape A since they all have the same dimensions. So when I go to find the area, 4 times 11 is just 44, but then I can just multiply by 3 since I have 3 shape A's. I should get 132. Nothing more to do here except write our final answer with our units, 132 meters squared for the packaging of that cheese. All right, find the surface area. This is a triangular prism, just looks a little bit different. First thing we need to do is draw our net. Triangular prisms, just like the last one, we should have 3 sides that are rectangles and then 2 triangles that are our bases. These are right triangles, so the net does look a little bit different, but it's still the same total number of shapes. After we draw the net, we have to label the sides. I like to label my little flaps first. So notice the bottom there, the base is 12, the height is 16, and then the slant height is 20, and that's labeled on that back triangle there. So 16, 12, 20, which helps us label our other 2 rectangles as well. So this would be 20 and this would be 12. Remember, when you fold that net back up, these 2 right here, let me highlight, would actually be the same length, and same here. Those would be the same sides. So we know they have to be the same measurement. Last but not least, the long side here, that's my highlighter. The long side is our 10 centimeters from our image. So when I go to label my different shapes, I like to start with my little flaps. We know those have to be the same in a triangular prism. Your triangles are always going to be the same. Those 2 can be shape A. At the top, we have a 10 by 20. It's a shape B. A 10 by 16, there's a shape C. And a 10 by 12 can be shape D. Last but not least, find the area of each, add them together. So shape A is a triangle, so be careful with your formula. Our base was 12, our height was 16, but divide by 2 since it's a triangle. When you type that in, you should get 96. But we have 2 shape A's, so multiply it by 2 to get 192. Shape B is a rectangle, so base times height. That was our 10 by 20. 10 times 20 is 200. Shape C, 16 by 10. 16 times 10 is 160. Last but not least, shape D is a 10 by 12, which is 120. No need to multiply by 2 for B, C, or D because we only have 1 of each. Final step here, add 192 plus 160 plus 200 plus 120. You should get 672. Don't forget your units, so 672 centimeters squared for the surface area of this triangular prism. All right, next one, plot the points, connect the points, name the shape, find the area. First things first, plot the 3 points they gave you. Remember, in a point, you have your X value first, your Y value second. So you need to go left and right, or horizontal first, and then up or down for your Y. So the point -3, 1, I'm going to go left to -3, up to +1, put a point. +2, +4, go right to +2, up to +4, put a point. And then +5, +1, same idea, go right to +5, up to +1, put a point. Do your best connecting these dots, be as straight as possible. When you do this, you should be able to see the shape at this point is a triangle. So to find the area, First things first, we have to count to get our base. So our base is this bottom part right here. When you count that, it should give you 8 units. And then your height. We don't want slant heights. We have to figure out that little height right there where it's going straight up and down. And when you count that, that should be 3 units. So area equals base 8 times height 3 divided by 2 since it's a triangle. 24 divided by 2 gives you an area of 12 units squared. Next one, plot the points, find the missing point that would create a rectangle, connect the points, find the area, find the perimeter. So first thing, plot those 3 points to give you. Go right to +3, down to negative 3. Go right to +4, up to +1. Go left to -1, up to +1. So a couple different ways you can figure out your missing point. You could attempt to connect these 2 points right here, and wherever they cross, that would be your point. You could count from these top 2 points here, figure out the distance, because you know the bottom distance should be the same as well. Any of those would work. Again, a bunch of different ways that you could figure out. Your missing point is -1, -3. Once you do that, next step should be to connect those points so you get your perfect rectangle, and then count your sides. So once you count them, your base or your length should be 5 and your height was 4. So to find the area, we just do 5 times 4. 5 times 4 would give me an area of 20 units squared. And then perimeter, remember perimeter is just adding all 4 of your sides together. So 5 plus 4 plus 5 plus 4 should give you a perimeter of 18 units.